Calling on to our next speaker, Dr. Ankush Deshmukh. Dr. Deshmukh, a distinguished emergency medicine expert and a proud Solonian, seamlessly blends his medical mastery with a passion for cosmic photography, showcasing the multifaceted nature of his expertise. Selected among 500 applicants, he undertook a year-long Antarctic expedition in 2021, serving as an emergency medicine doctor. During his stay on the icy continent, Dr. Deshmukh accumulated a wealth of life-changing experiences, transcending the boundaries of his medical profession. Now he is poised to share these invaluable lessons with our audience today. Join us in welcoming Dr. Deshmukh to the stage.
Hello. Good to be here on the stage. Before I start my talk is more about, it's not just about what I'm talking about, it's also about the photos which you'll see. So if you like some photo, the oohs and the ahs will inspire me more to talk in great detail. So let's begin. Terra Incognita, the hidden or unknown land, as ancient geographers used to call it. They assume that if there is a land in the north, if there is an Arctic in the north, there will definitely be a land in the south. Hence, they called it anti-Arctic, hence Antarctica. So I welcome you all to my journey in Terra Incognita, Antarctica. The Indian Antarctic program was launched in 1981 by the Indian government and the National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research. Our first station was Dakshin Gangotri, which was on the ice shelf. It was built in 1983 after India signed the Antarctic Treaty. The next station, it was a permanent base on land, which is here, Maitri. It was located on a piece of land called Shermaker Oasis. This was inducted into the Indian Antarctic program in 1989. Our third base came about in 2012. It was named Bharti. The International Antarctic Treaty was signed in 1959 on 1st December. As a matter of fact, yesterday was the Antarctic Day. It was signed in 1959, and our government and the Indian Antarctic program follows all the goals and ideals of the Antarctic Treaty to keep Antarctica as a non-political, non-weaponized, virgin territory for scientific cooperation. This is the image of the summer camp. The previous image was the main building of the station. It houses around 24 to 25 members who live throughout the winter. This is the summer camp, which houses around 70 to 80 members during the summer, which is November to February. The blue huts which you see, they are the containers which are living spaces for the scientists. And the wooden huts which you see, they are our labs, which also house lab equipments. They have been on site since before the original building was built, because they served as the living space during the construction of the main building station. This image has been shot from the window of my own room. This was my view when I used to wake up every day. When people see this image, they tell me, Ankush, why did you come back? Believe me, I ask myself the same question every day. At this moment, I would like to proudly say that I am the first Solonian. I am honored to be the first Solonian to represent India on the Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica. I passed out from school in 2004, and 17 years later, I stepped onto Antarctica. And I always carry the school emblem in some form or the other. When I went to the expedition, I had a Solonia-thon t-shirt with me. And I clicked a photo, I printed it out, and I made sure that I have this pic with me. And as a matter of fact, I sent a printout of this pic by post from Maitri station, which took 3 months to come to school. We reach Antarctica by flight. This is a Russian military aircraft called Ilyushin IL-76. It is a cargo plane, basically, and we sit along the sides of the plane. The flights are only between November and February. This flight leaves from Cape Town and reaches Antarctica. It's a 5.5-hour journey over the Southern Ocean. The other way to reach Antarctica is by ship. The ship basically is our main source of transport for all our food, all our fuel, majority of our scientific and maintenance equipment. Now, the interesting part about this ship is a Russian ship. It has a Russian crew. It has 2 helicopters. The chopper is piloted by either a South African team or a team from Ukraine. And it is chartered by Indians. So as we Bharatiyas call it, it is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire world is one. And Antarctica is basically a place without boundaries. We camp around 25 kilometers away from where the ship anchors. And during the nights, our entire campsite used to be under the glow of the green lights of the Aurora Australis. Again, this pic I have clicked from the window of my bunk bed in my living module. So we set up camp. We have 2 living modules. Our living module also has a small generator, a portable generator, which is powered by ATF. And our source of food is ready to eat packets of meals. Our source of water is the snow which we collect from outside the living module. We bring it inside and heat it and put it in heaters where the snow melts, and that's our source of water. This time when we stayed there, we were stuck in a raging blizzard with wind speeds crossing 120 kilometers per hour. But we had to stay inside. We had no control over the wind speeds. We were told that if the wind speed crosses 200 kilometers per hour, our living module might fly away. And there would be no way to rescue us. The only thing we could do is make the best of the moment, stay inside, and pray to God that the wind speeds don't cross 200. Once the blizzard died down, it was work as usual. We went back to the ship, we decanted all our fuels, unloaded all the containers, and we made a move towards Maitri. This photo was clicked 2 days before I left for Maitri. The green lights would be a permanent fixture on the shelf when we were staying there, when we were camping there for 3 weeks. This image, so when people think of the polar regions, they think of 6 months of day and 6 months of night, where that's accurate for the South Pole or the North Pole. We were staying at 71 degrees south, so there we experienced 2.5 months of polar day and 2.5 months of polar night. The rest is a variation with a lenning day or a lenning night, depending on the season. This image is the last sunset before polar night began in May. And all of us went out and made sure we clicked this pic because we knew that we are not going to see the sun again for the next 2.5 months. And when you're staying 10,000 kilometers away from your friends and family with minimal contact, on the larger scale of things, the sun is your only source of dopamine and is your only companion. And it was a little cathartic, to say the least, when we clicked this image. Living in the polar regions, it is considered a tough job. As a matter of fact, in the history of our nation, there have been less than 1,200 Indians who have wintered over in Antarctica, and I am honored and privileged to be one of them. 21st of June is considered Midwinter Day, and we are awarded this certificate and an honorary title of the Polar Man because we have lived through winter. We received this certificate, which is signed by the expedition leader from our station and the expedition leader from the Russian station, which is Novolazarevskaya, which is around 4 kilometers due east of the Indian station. 20 members of the Russian station, 24 members of the Indian station. It's 44 people living in a radius of close to 500 kilometers. So we share a good camaraderie because when you are staying in the middle of nowhere with being away from humanity, any living thing becomes your family. And there, the Russians are more than a family because we are in touch with the Russians more than we are in touch with our families. So we share a good camaraderie. There is help available throughout the year. And it's like a second home for us. We go to their station, they come to our station. As a custom, all members at the station get to celebrate their birthdays. I was also lucky to celebrate mine in July of 2022, that is last year. My expedition leader decided, I was famous at the station for venturing outside, be it day or night, regardless of the weather. Because for me, it was 1 year, which I'm never going to get back. So I wanted to make the most of it. So I used to venture out, go on excursions, go outside, look at the aurora, do some stargazing. So my leader decided, okay, like, you know what, we'll even celebrate his birthday outside. So I was lucky enough that all my members also decided, okay, like, you know, they agreed to the plan, because this photo has been shot in wind chill temperatures of minus 50 degrees Celsius. 50. It was freezing cold, obviously, but we had acclimatized by then, and we were also wearing our polar clothing. But the blueberry cheesecake was harder than rock. Another highlight of polar nights is the aurora australis. The green bands of light moving like curtains. They dazzle the sky almost every night. If the weather is clear, you're definitely going to see an aurora. And you see it once, you see it twice, you see it 3 times. You see it 50 times. Even the 51st time is still as enchanting as it was the first time. And this was shot on a full moon night. So the moon is almost like a planet over there. And with the lack of pollution and the clear air, this is not daylight. This is full moon night. You can see everything. You don't need a torch. And on one of the nights, we decided to camp under the stars. My leader, Mr. H.N. Singh, he is a meteorologist himself. He and I decided, okay, like, you know what, today we'll camp out under the stars. We are never going to get this chance again. And the heavens decided to gift our bravery with the brightest and the strongest auroral shows of our expedition. The temperatures had reached minus 35 degrees Celsius, but we were too awestruck by the magnificence of the moment when we saw these lights. And then, 2.5 months later, the first sunrise. When you see the sun rise again, the amount of warmth and hope that it fills you up, it's something that I cannot describe in mere words. You had to be there to feel what I felt in that moment. The day we knew that the sun is going to rise up again, we took a little hike towards the east. I climbed a rock, looked at the sun, joined my palms in a prayer, and thanked it for filling us all up with hope, warmth, and energy. This is the view of one of the ice walls near the station, around 5 kilometers due west of Maitri station. The place where I've clicked this image from, the wall used to exist there till a decade ago. The significance of that statement is the amount of melting that has happened in less than 10 years. Global warming is real, and I have seen it live. This is peak winter, mind you, and you can even see cracks in the wall. So we used to see, even at night when we used to be out there doing some work, we used to hear blocks of ice come crushing down, and we used to hear loud sounds. And winter is supposed to be the time when everything is frozen, and even at that time there were ice walls breaking. As it has affected the geography in Antarctica, it has affected even the biology in Antarctica. There's a predatory bird named skua. The advent of the skua is considered the advent of summer in Antarctica. And over the last 30 years, the skuas have been coming a couple of days in advance, every 3-4 years. Traversing crossroads, that's what we are talking about. I was at a crossroad a couple of years back. Either stay at a permanent job in a big hospital in the city, or take the risk, resign, apply for an experience of a lifetime. Sometimes these risks work, sometimes they don't. Thankfully, in my case, it worked because I was planning to apply for this job for 3 or 4 years in advance before I got selected for this. What has Antarctica given me? The blue waters, the blue sky, the white ice, the white snow, the brown rocks, they have all left an irreplaceable space in my mind and in my memory. I clicked this image a month before I left to depict the yogi in me. Because what Antarctica gave me is eternal contentment and lasting peace. I did my duty as a doctor. I did my duty as a patriotic Indian citizen. And I was mesmerized by the beauty of God's creation. An unspoiled wilderness in its most unblemished form. Before I sign off, I would like to thank my team of the 41st Indian Scientific Expedition to Antarctica, and to everyone present here, and to the team at TEDxYouth at SinghaniaSchool. Thank you very much.
Those insights by Dr. Deshmukh were enriching and remarkable. I would now like to invite the design heads Nitika Bhave and Parnika Chirala to felicitate Dr. Deshmukh.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitika and Parnika. Let's have a resonant round of applause for Dr. Ankush Deshmukh.